Hi there, Rick here. I'll just read an interesting story on my MSN Money app today. Um, the title of it is called Zelensky Faces Rebellion as Ukraine's President Under Growing Pressure. Okay. So the story is talking about um, there's been a $100 million corruption scandal implicating top officials and other associates. Um, I'm not surprised that this story has, come out. Okay, because I already heard that there was money. Okay, in the war in Ukraine. Okay, being embezzled. Okay, and one of these officials or politicians, he fled the country. Okay, which was probably a good idea. Okay, because you have to remember, probably would have been arrested and put behind bars, and so it's quite an interesting story. Okay, it also talks about how this one other man, he's got quite a bit of power. Okay, and he's the one that's appointing um, different people to high positions. Okay. Um, it says that he owns some sort of media company, and Zelensky, okay, was a co-owner of that company too, even before he became president. Okay. Um, so the story was talking about how that person, um, he needs to resign, okay, to kind of like bring back confidence in the kind of like in the party system, okay, um because look at how much money is coming into Ukraine, right? Literally hundreds of millions of dollars, if not even billions of dollars worth of weapons, right? um is pouring into Ukraine, okay. um and it's, I was going to say, it can be very tempting, okay, for these, top officials to say, oh, I deserve this $10 million right here, or I deserve this $1 million right here, right? Um, it's just very easy for them to, um, to pull in a lot of money for themselves, okay, um, and say, oh, this is part of my pay, okay. Um, because I even remember Justin Trudeau gave $500 million to Ukraine. Okay. And the thing is, too, right? Um, you don't really stipulate, how the money is going to be spent. Okay. Zelensky spends it as his own kind of like discretion. Okay. Um, I think, was it? I heard that a battalion. My apologies if I make a mistake here, but it was about close to 5,000 men. It cost them like $900 million to put together a battalion, okay, of about 5,000 men, okay. Sure, during World War II, it never even cost close to that, okay. But, today it just, it costs so much money. Everything from the weapons to the, uh, to the bullets, to the men fighting the war. Like, I'm surprised that um, the economy didn't collapse. Okay, either on Ukraine or even the Russian side. Okay, because I heard that Russia, okay, it's not paying a lot of his uh, foreign fighters. Because I heard that the Cubans, there was a Cuban, talking to the media, just saying how A lot of his friends have died. They weren't getting paid, right? Um, so, there's, a lot of corruption in war too, right? I'm not sure if he's doing that to his Russian soldiers, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing it to his Russian soldiers too. Um, wars are very expensive these days. Okay. Um, even Russia, okay, they needed help from North Korea. Okay. I heard that North Korea supplied literally thousands of trainloads of ammunition to Russia. Okay. I guess they just cannot produce enough munitions. Okay, for the war. And you have to remember, this war has been going on for what, 4 years now? Okay. You have to remember, I think World War II was 5 years, but this is no small war. You know, the front line stretches from the south coast all the way to the north coast, right? That's more than I think more than 1,000 kilometers right there. You're creating a front, you know, 1,000 miles. I think it's more than that. Take a guess. I think it's something like 2,500 miles or something like that, right? Sure, $100 million has been embezzled, but I wouldn't be surprised it's even a lot more than that. I wouldn't be surprised it's 4 times or even 5 times that amount that has been embezzled. Okay. Um, when the story gets out, right? The news the news in this article here was just talking about, Zelensky. He was just under a lot of pressure to try to, fix the scandal, right? Because it's a lot of what um, top political officials, politicians involved. Okay. Um, when you have all this, hundreds of millions of dollars coming into your country to help, fight this war, right? Um, yeah, I was going to say it's very tempting for, these people who are in power to, embezzle the money. Okay. And like I say, I just feel it's a lot more than 100 million. Okay. That has been embezzled already. Okay. Um, I think if they start digging into, the accounting of, just a lot more, uh, of the different, uh, bookkeeping stories that have been going on, right? I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, um, they'll find a lot more stories of, money that has been embezzled.